Sloss and Humphries on the road.
Muggins and Cream, Cream and Muggins, straight thuggin', living the dream.
That's our intro.
Fucking muggles.
Tickling the clit inside your head that makes you laugh.
I was on fucking fire last night.
I wish.
I was on fucking belt of form last night. You were lucky.
You got to that stage of stoned where you forgot you were in a foreign country and then didn't change your accent at all in every conversation.
I was tiny. He has it up like. Start listening in Flemish. I think Flemish is just fluent Geordie anyway.
It's a very weird language. Like every time I walk around here in Belgium and you see signs written down, you're like, that does just feel like a prank that you're playing on foreigners to be like, let's make them think that this is what we talk like, just so they can sort of see us sounding out the 19-syllable, double-barreled. Like, for some reason, there's like, I've seen 2 letters in a row before. Look, meet, greet. I've never seen 7 in a row.
Aye.
Like, outside of we and ah. But like, they're just in words here.
Aye, like they're just doing like a massive lol on the internet with loads of O's and
Aye.
like no one's really saying laugh out loud.
Yeah, it's...
But they're just they're accentuating. Accentuating, is that a word?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you used it. Accentuating is a word. I don't know if you used it in the correct context. But
I felt good, that. Just threw a word out of my mouth I've never heard before. I don't think I've heard that word. I don't trust words.
Accentuated?
Accentuated, aye.
Aye.
Is that a word?
Uh-huh.
And I used it correctly?
No.
Well, let's not get into this. So I was fucking well baked last night. You were holding your composure quite well.
Yeah, because I'm a stoner and you are not.
Aye, I've kind of retired being a stoner.
Aye.
But I still dabble.
Me too.
And you're a daily smoker. So I just like get on it now and again.
Aye.
Or when I do, it's like, when the big general guns to get Rambo back out of the retreat in the mountains.
I've never seen any of Rambo.
In Rambo 3.
No.
And he's just like, he's retired and he's just getting on with his life, doing some hunting and gathering or whatever he's doing. He's doing some handicrafts in his little cave. And then they're like, oh, we need you on the battlefield. I'm like, roll it up, General.
Aye.
Roll it up. That's me in the stoner world.
Are the Rambo movies any good?
I like them. You know what? Weirdly, they haven't really... they're not talked about that much anymore, so maybe they're not. Like they're never mentioned as like in the same way Rocky still gets banded about quite a bit.
Well, because I always remember having a debate with my dad where, when I was younger, I would say that Sylvester Stallone is Sylvester Stallone's a shit actor. Like that fucking, like, Rocky's, he's not good in that. And my dad was like, no, you're like, everyone that thinks Sylvester Stallone isn't a good actor is an idiot because he's playing that type of person in Rocky. That's not what Sylvester Stallone actually talks like all the time. That's the character.
Yeah, it just means you fell for it. He's constantly playing the same role because that man is like, he's an entrepreneur.
If he's playing the same fucking role, if I've not seen Rambo, but if it's the same fucking accent as Rocky, then he is thick as pig shit.
I'm not saying he's a good actor. I'm just saying that role he plays must be a role. He can't be that guy when he's like in meetings trying to get his like scripts commissioned and all that.
Well, isn't the story
young guys? Because he held on to that script and denied millions and lived. I don't know if he lived on the streets off. That was just hyperbole of the story until it got accepted with him as the lead. Aye,
and he also, I think he did like sell a dog to get. I think the story is like he had to sell his favourite dog to get food, and then he sold the script and then went back.
To a really heartless story.
Oh, aye.
Just in selling the dog.
Well, no, he needed to eat, and he couldn't afford to feed the dog either. So,
right.
Like, he was like, right, I'm not going to let 2 creatures fucking starve here. I'm going to give you to an owner while I'm living on the streets. And then he sold the script and then went back and bought his dog back.
He bought his dog back?
That's the story I've heard.
Do you know what his dog was called in Rocky?
No.
Butt Kiss.
I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to say something that's going to piss Martin Nelson off here. I don't think the Rocky movies were that good. I just don't get it.
You didn't even like Rocky 4 for what it was?
Nah. I don't think I've seen Rocky 4, but I remember watching Rocky 1 going, oh, man, it's the Great Gatsby.
You've never seen the one with Dolph Lundgren in?
The first 2 didn't capture me. Like, it feels like the Great Gatsby rules we've discussed. The reason these movies are considered good is because there was no other movies at the time.
Because 1 and 2 were like really gritty, like kind of underdog stories, and they were like iconic, right? But for me, Rocky 4 was like a Hollywood blockbuster.
Aye.
And that, like, there were 2 like kind of different films. Like, They had different goals.
I just didn't.
Rocky 3, I'm not sure about Rocky 3. Like
Rocky 1, I didn't get what the point was. Like he didn't lose, or he did lose, but he put up a fight. Class, London's dog story. I get it. Adrian, didn't get it. That's not, like, even if you're thick, that's not an attractive woman.
I didn't find her that supportive either, actually.
Nah, didn't get any of that. And then also, I
reckon Rocky should have watched Jigsaw by like episode 2. I reckon him and Adrian would have parted ways.
What's Sylvester Stallone done recently? The only thing I think, oh well, he was fucking.
He was in the Marvel.
He was also the shark in Suicide Squad.
I still haven't seen that yet.
It's very good.
Yeah, very recommended.
Aye, it's very good. And then 30 years time, my son's gonna watch the fucking podcast, the Suicide Squad. He goes, I don't think it was that good. I don't think Sylvester Stallone was that good. Not, but like, you little fucking ignorant cunt. It's a classic.
Do you think you'll hang on to the movies that you loved when you were growing up the same way? Like, you know, when you talk about Mark Nelson just hangs on to a movie and he'll not let it go, even though time's moved on and there's better stuff.
Aye.
Like, he still has that on a pedestal because it's got the nostalgia attached to it.
Aye.
Do you think, like, when your kids are like shaming Lord of the Rings, you'll be there going, but you just don't understand how far that took
yeah, kind of absolutely. Well, because now because I remember when I was young, like, not enjoying the Star Wars movies, right? My dad couldn't. He was like, why do you not enjoy these? And I'm like, because the graphics are shit, the acting is shit, and also I've seen better versions of Star Wars. And his argument was obviously always correctly, yeah, but like, the reason all the sci-fi you've seen has come from Star Wars. And I'm like, buddy, I'm 9. I don't give a fuck. The stuff I'm consuming now, like, it was inspired by Star Wars, but it's objectively better now. And that's what I'm doing. Now, as an older person, when I go back and watch Star Wars and I understand how that works, like, I go, oh yeah, like, of course I can see why people enjoy this. I can suspend the graphics are dog shit. Like, it's a bit fucking hack in places because it wasn't considered hack at the time because it was the thing that made all the things I can do that now as an adult, but I couldn't do it as a kid. So if my kid at the age of fucking 12 is like, I think Lord of the Rings is stupid, I'm like, all right, give it 6 years. Give it 6 years.
You'll appreciate it. Even if you don't like it, you'll appreciate it later on.
Yeah. Once you discovered fucking marijuana, trust me, you're gonna love it.
Do you think it's like going, like, say, you've got your Netflix specials and your HBO special and you're going, yeah, but look, that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for this, and wheeled out your 2012 DVD. Right. You're like, this classic, this is Shoulders of Giants, this. No, but it's like when people say, any like sort of half comedy fan that like doesn't enjoy George Carlin or Bill Hicks or Richard Pryor or any of these like old greats, they go, oh, you know, Billy Connolly.
Yeah, they go, I don't like those. And you go, right, well, even if you don't like those comedians, I guarantee every comedian you like was inspired by those comedians. So whether you like it or not, all the greats have influenced all of your favourites. That's how it works, and that works in movies, that works in music, that all forms.
Like with Billy Connolly, he made it so that we could tell stories on stage.
I swear.
Everyone was just doing like mother-in-law jokes and like, it was all like Bernard Manning type stuff, wasn't it? And then he just come along and just started telling stories with the punchlines woven into the stories. And then it just meant when we started our career, that format was palatable already because he'd breached it. Richard
Pryor was the first ever comedian to really personify anything other than himself in his bits. Like, you know, that sort of like...
He really acted out stuff, didn't he? I'm gonna, full disclosure here, I haven't seen much Richard Pryor, bar the odd clip.
Oh man, it's good. Like, live on the Sunset Strip. Again, do it the same way that we've just said, that if when you're watching the classics, you've got to go back and like comedy.
But not in the same way that we watched Jamie Foxx. That was objectively bad.
Oh, Jamie Foxx's stand-up special. Jesus fuck.
That wasn't to like appreciate at the time what was happening. He wasn't pushing any boundaries at the time. Then he was just outright garbage.
Aye. Well, I mean, he ripped in the room.
He smashed the room.
But it was, you know, it's black crowds in America, and if I've learned anything from the American, like there's two very different like circuits out there. There's like the black circuit, and then there's like in fact, there's several circuits. I don't know what I'm talking about. But the black circuit's the one that like only like Bill Burr has really sort of gone into. Like, it's just a different, you know, fucking type of gig. That's where like Def Comedy Jam comes from. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Jamie Foxx came through there and was like probably good at the time, but it really feels like, you know, when like a comedian becomes famous and then becomes shit because they don't have the ability to play to a neutral audience anymore.
So they're playing to an audience that already loves them, so they're compromising. because they know they're going to get a good response.
I don't think they're not compromising. They just can't find an honest fucking audience.
Also, like in that Jamie Foxx audience, it was like he was going for whooping and cheering rather than laughter.
Aye.
So he was trying to make them like hoot and holler. And he was doing stuff like catchphrases, like
the catchphrases,
taking a hit of an imaginary spliff, and then like going, "You got to blow that shit out," and then gone mad for it. Like they're not laughing because I mean there's no punchline there.
He's like, he said the same thing he said 5 minutes ago. This is like Mrs. Brown's Boy's life. This is class.
It was so funny watching the development of that as well, because the first one he done it, he finished because he was doing it at the end of routines.
Aye.
He was putting it as like a period.
Oh, it was gaslighting an audience into like it was Pavlovian dog response, which is like, I'm gonna say this after a time that you've laughed, and then you're gonna associate it with laughter, and then every time you laugh, I'm just gonna say this dumbass thing that doesn't make any fucking sense.
It was like,
and then the next time I say it, even if I've not said anything funny, you're gonna be like, he only says that when a joke's over.
So it's just NLP.
Aye.
Because the first time he did it, they got to blow that shit out. The audience, even the audience that loved him, didn't know what was going on. They were like, he's just took a hit of a spliff. And then the second time we come round, they were like, oh, he did that thing again. And then the third time they're joining in, they're like, you got to blow that shit out. You're like, how?
Aye, thank God he went into acting.
How did you write that? How did you, like, what was your, you know, you wouldn't be in his laptop at the time, would he? What year was it? Would he have had a computer?
Nah. I mean, that looked like it was
90s.
Aye.
Might have had a computer. Might have been a big desktop number.
No, because I don't think comedians started writing on fucking like even
just there on Word 1 with a paperclip.
Aye, nobody was going to a fucking office to write their jokes. That was still notepad era.
So you don't think he was right? I'm going to blow that shit out, and then the paperclip would pop up and go, I suggest putting a joke here.
Yeah, no, and he was just like, no, shut up, cancel, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, and that is a 55-minute set, and I have fucking ripped it.
Then he gets in touch with his agent. I've got them 30 pages you asked for.
We don't have any catchphrase.
Are we in the same seats as kind of big catchphrase in the industry for us? Your agent tried to turn you into a catchphrase comic, and you dropped one of your bits out of spite.
Yes, I did, yeah.
Because you had a bit about voice controls on the TV at the time. It was on your Xbox, and you're trying to get it to put on the Netflix app, and you were shouting into your remote or whatever.
Well, I mean, it's very
Netflix.
like Auntie Donna have now actually done a better version of the bit I was doing, but I did it first. Fuck you, Auntie Donna. But it was the Xbox Connect was just me trying to go with a Scottish accent. It doesn't work, which is just going Xbox, Netflix, and it's just not fucking working. The joke is just me losing my mind and yelling Netflix over and over again, and then. Marlena just kept quoting it to me, and I'm like, all right, well, that's that joke done. I'm
going to have to quit that. Like, it was like, I didn't have to suggest getting like merch printed, but you can't get merch printed with just Netflix written on it.
That's not how that works. I'm pretty sure they'd have something to say about it.
You weren't even on Netflix at the time.
I know.
The other one that you have that you didn't mean to be a catchphrase was when you taught your goddaughter to stick her middle finger up at horses, because she didn't know what the middle finger meant, flipping the bird.
Aye.
And then like every time you see horses, you stick your middle finger up. And
now whenever I do this, people go, horses, and I'm like, all right, okay, I guess I've fucking backed myself into that corner.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
But there's nothing there's nothing you've willingly put in. There's nothing where you've like put it into a set a number of times so that like people know it as your trademark.
Well, I mean, ice cream for the Jews is getting pretty close.
Yeah.
Like ice cream for the Jews, it's like part of the like.
That's a really risky catchphrase to have, though.
Yeah, and I'm never putting on shirts.
The weird thing is, like, just as a sentence, like even without any of the context, ice cream for the Jews. It's just such a like It's not even baiting. It's like it's more confusing. It's like, what is that? It seems like it could be derogatory, but what does it even mean?
Well,
it's derogatory in what way? It's not even like on any of the stereotypes.
No, but I think it's derogatory. Anytime there's the in front of a type of people,
yes,
it's the gays, the blacks, the women. the Jews.
The women.
Like, it's never...
Oh, the women. Right.
Whenever you describe a group of people just as that's the whole thing, that's when it gets to that, all right, you're just making a big-ass fucking generalisation here. Like, yeah.
And if you put, like,
I'll tell you something. Here's an example, right? You know when Cullen has been about to make a very bad point where he goes, I'll tell you something about the English. You go, all right, there it is.
It's almost as if there's like a little placeholder for a swear word after the.
Aye.
It's like you're just leaving that out, aren't you, to make it sound less offensive.
The is only like one step above those fucking.
It is.
Yeah. Like, the gays or those fucking gays. Like, it's okay, we've reduced it, but the malice is still there. You've covered it up enough.
Aye. Because it's just it's like you're throwing a blanket over people.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. There's a blanket over them. Right, now we're going to talk about them. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Probably bad.
Are the Scots complaining again? Are the left having a wine? Are the right being racist? It's across the board, it's, you know. So if it's ice cream for the Jews, then it's in there. Not looking forward to doing that joke in Germany.
But you have to.
I do have to do it.
Because in the same way that you had to do the Japan expression, habu, that's a catchphrase, habu.
You have to do that in... I did that in Japan, and that's... So if I'm going to do the Nazi jokes, I feel like I have to do them in Germany. But I feel like the reason I don't want to isn't because I think they'll be more offended by it, but I have done Nazi jokes in Germany before, and because they are so thoroughly taught their own history, like, it's not like when it's shock comedy, when you do Holocaust jokes in the rest of the world, people do because they're not that close to it. Like, it's a thing in history that happened on the other side of the world, or to a people that, like, they don't relate to. Like, they know people involved in it, but it's like second generations after and stuff. Whereas, like, in Germany, they're like, oh man, like, we did that.
Yeah, that's it. If you go in Germany and start doing jokes about the Holocaust, like you said, they taught their own history. But if you go in England and start doing jokes about, like, the treatment of the Irish, or was it Bangladesh?
I mean,
a
third of the world.
And so, like, the audience will be just the well-read ones will know what you're talking about.
Aye, and they'll just go, oh, okay.
The people that have just got a basic school curriculum education, they'll not have a clue, and they'll feel attacked. Aye, because they don't know what they did.
Aye. Whereas in, like, the Germans aren't, like, offended by it. They're not upset. They're not, like, angry at the jokes, but they're more, like, upset. It's like bringing up a horrible thing that they did. It would be like me bringing up, or you bringing up, the way, like, we used to, like, you know, treat other people when we were in high school. And you're like, oh God, man, I was a real piece of shit back then. It's like a national version of that. They're like, oh man, like, we promise we've improved since then. Like, we don't like that being the thing that we're known for. Yeah. And I know we shouldn't complain because we did do it. But
those opinions and actions weren't on Facebook because it wasn't invented then. But how do you feel about being held accountable for the way you were in school? Do you think, like, a grown-up school bully should feel bad about what he did?
Yeah. I think that's the entire thing of being, like, you have to be accountable for all of your actions in your life. Right, and that includes the good ones and the very, very shameful ones and the embarrassed ones. You have to stand by them and go, look, that was me, and I did do that. I don't stand by why I did it. I understand why I did it, and the reasons I did it were wrong, and they came from these places of, like, insecurity or fear or jealousy. I don't stand by what I did, but I admit those were my actions, and I am, you know, regretful about them, and I'm going to do my best in the future to not do them again. Man, I didn't know, but, like, I was a bit of a bully in primary school. I can imagine
that. I can imagine you didn't have empathy for your fellow student.
I did, but I just, like, but I was good at football, and, like, that's all that matters to make you popular in primary school. Like, the best at football is, like, and, like, I think I wasn't devoid of empathy, but I had, like, a 9-year-old's level of empathy, which is enough. Didn't realise the things that you were saying hurt other people. You think it's just banter. On the other side of things, it's them being bullied. And in retrospect, it absolutely was bullying. And I don't fucking feel...
Have you ever been victim of bullying?
Yeah, both. Yeah, absolutely.
And do you resent those guys? What type of bullying happened to you?
Well, in primary school, just like a bit, like I occasionally got, like, pushed up against a wall and fucking roughed up. But I think the reason that kid was bullying me then was because I'd said something, like, in class that made everyone laugh at him. And then after the school, he just reminded me that he was thoroughly bigger than I was, and just put the fear of God into me for a bit. So I think that was, like, 2 levels of, like, bullying.
So you got put in your place, really?
Yeah, and then I remember like we both got taken in to like the teacher and told off, and we were both accusing each other of bullying, and we're like, oh right, I see what's happening.
We're just having a fight.
Aye.
That's what's happening.
And then
I had one where a girl emptied a tin of hairspray in my face. I couldn't breathe.
Oh.
And I was like coughing and crying and that.
Aye.
I don't hold that against her. That's pretty funny.
I don't.
It's not funny. It wasn't funny when she got out a later.
You know what? I will say I do have a little bit of fucking resentment. There's a kid from my high school, Jeff. I won't say his second name, but if you were to tell me right now,
you know, you're getting old. If there was a kid in your high school called Jeff,
aye,
that's the sign of age. That like, isn't he? Jeff's in school now.
If you were to tell me right now that he died yesterday, like we'd have to cut the camera because there would be a big fucking grin on my face.
Really?
Oh yeah, man. Like, and I know that's really immature and stuff, but like you could literally explain to me that like since high school he's grown up, he's got married, he's got 3 children, he understands that bullying is wrong. I still hope he dies. Like he was just because his bullying was just like it wasn't consistent, but it was the fucking pathetic non-confrontational bullying. So you'd be sitting in class and then would like throw something at the back of your head and then pretend it wasn't him. Like you're walking down the corridors, clips your fucking heels, then runs away. Like none of it was like in your... It was
constant mischief that you couldn't get done for.
Aye.
But it was just like death by a million cuts.
Yeah, but it was...
You want him to die for being mischievous?
No, it was belittling shit. Like it was it was fucking constant fucking chipping away. It's like, he just decided to not like me for whatever reason. And it was never like, I'm going to kick your fucking head in. Like, I'm going to say these horrible things to your fucking faces. But it's just at random points during the day, I'm going to make you feel like shit. But then again, man, in fucking retrospect, like we were teenagers. Like I was probably a piece of shit to several other fucking kids. Like it's, you know... I think there are some people out there that were maybe just the bullies, but I'm not going to fucking stand here and lie and tell you that I was always bullied and I was never a piece of shit to somebody else.
I didn't feel like I was picked out. Like I didn't feel like I was victimized as such, but I was definitely like sometimes the focus would get turned on me, and I'd have to just take it. Like there was one time when they got me school bag. And like I was quite short as a kid, right? But these bigger kids like climbed up the goalposts and they tied the strap, they untied the thing from the tether and then tethered it back in, so it was like solid attached from the crossbar, and then slid it across so it was over the massive puddle.
Great.
So I had to go and jump in the massive puddle to try and get it to come to the bar to get it doing, and then like I'm fucking jumping up and doing in a puddle trying to get my bag back.
That's so cruel but so good.
And that's why I'm like, I can't look back on that and like look at that like an origin story, like I've got to prove those guys wrong and become a comedian. I just look back at that and I could have been anybody.
Aye.
And then there was another one where I've talked about this in my How to Be Happy show. But it's a true story, so I'll just go over it. It was the one where it was my first day at school, and I had my bag on both shoulders full of like all my fucking new stationery and all that. Got my new uniform on for the first time. I've never been at this school before, and I'm walking around the back of the sports hall, and these lads just grabbed us. They were like, looked like adults, they're just blokes. I was just this little kid, right? And they grabbed us by an arm and a leg each. And give us what I called a shuggy boat, like what your dad and your uncle would get, a shuggy boat, just an arm and a leg each, and then just like, swing you back and forward. And just
why do you call it a shuggy boat? Is that?
I don't know, just a shuggy boat. I just
Does shuggy have any other meaning?
I don't know, you're getting shugged. I don't know if that's even. Mate, didn't make us try and work out why jollies do what they do.
I know.
It may just be my family. It may be one of them where it's just like within my street as a kid.
But sometimes I criticise you. I'm like, where the fuck does that come from? And then there's actually a very good explanation of like etymology and whatnot. So that was that.
Yeah. So the threw us into the water, and it was like I landed like backpack first on my arse, just fucking drenched in my new uniform. Right. I was just lying in this puddle, cold and wet, and fucking having a shit first day at school. And then they went to grab my mate. It's called Elliot, not that one.
No.
He would have been 3. They went and grabbed my mate, right, and. Just as they grabbed him, he just went, "Don't! I'll throw myself in." And he wrestled 3 of them and just launched himself in next to us.
Great, go out on your own terms.
Aye, on my own terms. Like that's not how I saw it. I thought he missed out on the best bit.
Like here's the hypocrisy of it, right? Like if there was anyone from either my primary school or high school that were like to come up to me and be like, hey man, we went to like primary school, high school together, and you, when you were a kid, you used to make me feel like shit. I would wholeheartedly like be like, man, I'm really sorry. Like I've obviously changed it then, but the fact that I've changed doesn't take away the fact that when I was younger, I applied very, very real hurt on you, which you've carried through your life. I am fundamentally, wholeheartedly sorry for that. And then on the other side of the thing, if any of my bullies came up to me and apologised to me, I'd be like, I fucking hope you die still. You've not given me any closure. Like, this spite that I have for you has taken me through a lot of my life. Like, it's really fucking helped me. I would really hope everyone I was shit to forgave me, and I would forgive absolutely no one that wronged me.
Even though it got you where you are, even though it's important.
Nah.
Have you seen that Nick Helm routine where he just pulls out a note and he's like, "Dear bully," and it's basically like talking about the soul searching he had to do because of the bullying and how the bullying like had made him become basically what you just said, made us become the person that I am today and all that, and I forgive you for everything because I couldn't have gotten to where I am without you and all that stuff. And he just folds it back up and went, "I received that this morning."
Great.
Yeah, like if a bully came up and just like someone that bullied you at school or picked on you at school come up and like had that like out party and just went like, "I'm so sorry, like I think about it all the time, I regret what I've done," and all that, I'd be like, man, I'm kind of glad you ruminated on that because that probably made you a better person. You probably come out of the other end because you regret it.
Nah,
like if that manifested as like fuck the cunt, you're just going to carry on growing up into a shit adult. But if you turn the corner and you've grown and you regret the actions of the person you previously were, then that's good.
No, but I think there's better ways to do it. Like I like to his face, I could be like, "I forgive you," and then I find out what school that his kids go to, make sure my kids go to the same school, and then get my kids to bully their kids, and then just keep the cycle going.
Keep the generation going.
Aye.
That's very like Scotland, England of you.
Yeah, because England has famously done nothing wrong to Scotland.
Yeah, that's how I'm saying.
In the past 10 years.
England have bullied Scotland. Yeah, recently as well.
Aye,
okay,
aye, like
it's ongoing.
Yeah, there's this thing of like, oh, the English stopped being shit to the Scottish loads of years ago. It's a thing of the fucking past. It absolutely fucking isn't.
That is true.
Aye, it's still going on every single day. We've never voted for the government that for some reason every one of you cunts loves so much.
Can I ask you a question? And I know it's going to take us over old ground and we're going to repeat some conversations off the back of it.
Aye.
But this is a question. Currently, is England still the country you hate the most?
Ooh.
Or have they recently been overtaken by somebody that was already a fairly close second?
Aye. Well, I mean, fucking, I don't want to be too unprofessional here because obviously I love all of our audience members, anyone that comes to our shows.
One little disclaimer here, and this isn't just pandering, the audience were class in Spain.
Aye.
They were the redeeming feature of our Spain trip.
Aye, but we are never going back.
You've decided that...
That's Spain done for me, on all fronts.
You've decided that you're never, ever going to Spain again. Because at first you were like, we're never gigging here again on tour. And then, at the end of it all, you were like, I'm not even coming back here on holiday. Like, you even like, including Ibiza.
Yeah, I take...
Scratching Ibiza off the list, which is fucking bonkers in my eyes. Like,
nah. Well, no.
That's a different gravy, Ibiza.
Nah. That was my last ever trip to Spain until every single person there thoroughly changes their attitude.
Aye.
And I just don't think that's going to happen.
It's a rude country.
Aye.
It's really rude.
It's like Paris, but everywhere.
Aye.
Like, it's just that, yeah. And man, again, look, we've discussed this before. I understand it. British tourists are the absolute worst in the fucking world.
But you can watch them being rude to each other. You can't understand what they're saying.
Aye.
But their tone is definitely like stanky tone when they're talking to each other. I've never seen a positive, smiley, friendly conversation between two Spaniards.
And it's not worth. When we were going through the airport, obviously because of Brexit, we now have to go into the other queue. And again, like the glee of which the Spanish send you to the other queue. And again, I get it. I understand.
That's one thing I hand to them. I'm like, you get to have that.
Yeah, like obviously, man, I get it. You hate fucking British people because we voted fucking Brexit, motherfucker. I'm Scottish. Like I'm not part of that fucking gang. Like I'm suffering the consequences of their shit. I promise you, I hate the people you hate infinitely more than you fucking do. But with all the glee, they're like, go in the other fucking queue, and you're like, yeah, okay, I get it. Like,
there's a lot of...
I'm part of the British, unfortunately. Like, that's the thing. That's the fucking blanket that you're throwing over the top of me.
And there's some real mental gymnastics of people that are claiming that it isn't because of Brexit that queue is so long. It's because of like fucking they're disorganised at their end or whatever, right? But you're like, I just watched my agent who has an Austrian passport. You can see how I made that mix up. My agent who has an Austrian passport just goes through on the other queue. And yeah, that queue would be bigger if the British people went in, but that queue is also electronic scan passports, self-serve, not just some fucking government official giving you the stink eye asking you 20 questions about why you're coming into his country.
Aye.
And you're joining the queue with, like, some people have getting to, like, whatever, Tenerife, and they've just ghosted through the queue, and they're like, well, it's fine, I've noticed it's fine. Yeah, you notice it's fine because you didn't land at the same time as a long-haul flight from somewhere out the continent.
Aye.
And had to join the back of the queue with those guys who are getting all the papers checked. You got lucky. It's a roll of the dice now. And yeah, you got through that one time, but keep playing and you're going to get stuck in the queue 5 times out of 10.
All right, look, I've had, that was our 3rd time performing in Spain, and not the audience's fault, but none of the 3 times that we've been in Spain have any of the gigs been run well or efficiently or to any level of quality or standard that I expect at this level in my fucking career. And I'm not going back for those reasons. And the reason I'm not going back on holiday is because I'm just sick of being treated like a British person when I'm there.
You don't want service of people in the service industry.
No.
And you can't go anywhere without needing service. And you always want to appreciate service because you're paying for the service. It's a trade. Like your money that you spent your time on for their time that they want money for, that's the trade. But you still want to have like a polite interaction. But it takes 2 people to complete that pass.
Aye.
Like I've been polite to service staff in Spain, and then being treated rude back.
Yeah.
And I don't want that transaction. I don't want to pay for that
Because also, man,
service.
motherfucker, do you want a game of being rude? Because I will fucking make you sob, motherfucker. Like, you have no idea the level of vitriol I can fucking pour in your direction. But I'm not taking my day out on you.
It feels much worse for the customer to be rude.
Aye.
It is much worse for the customer to be rude.
Especially as a fucking British person. I can't be rude to you because I'm just fulfilling the fucking stereotype that you're believing in, that's making you treat me this way. So I've got to just try and, with my kindness, be like, okay, I understand it. You know, maybe you want to take 45 minutes to bring a menu over to a table in an empty restaurant, you lazy piece of shit.
It's true. It takes a lot of energy to kill Spaniards with kindness when all you want to do is use weapons.
Like, it's up there with the Australian levels of service, but I would actually say Spanish service is worse than the...
Yeah, the Australian service is just like, they're not in a hurry. They're still nice and polite often. Often is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that statement. Also, by the way, I will say this now. I owe an apology to the people of Melbourne. Oh, yes.
When I was over in April or May, whenever I would go around Australia, and my opening joke was about how when I was in Melbourne, they were all complaining that they'd had a 2-month lockdown, and they were complaining to me, a British person, that had gone through 9 months of lockdowns. And there was this whole bit about how, you know, people in Melbourne, they like being the victims, they're perpetually victims, and they were like, we've had the hardest of it in Australia, therefore we've had it the hardest in the world. And I was making fun of them for that. And now Melbourne has become the most lockdown city in the entire world.
Are they in their 5th lockdown now?
Yeah.
So they've been given their privileges and their life back like 4 times.
Yep, and then taken away.
And
again, it's none of their fault. It's an incompetent fucking government.
But it just means your routine mocking them has aged terribly.
So bad. So I just want to anyone in Melbourne that did see that show that was just being like, fucking, that's Sloss Bear. Hey, you were right. Congratulations. I've lost any right to complain about the lockdowns I went through. You are the kings and queens of lockdown. You've suffered more than me. Enjoy your cross.
A rare apology from Daniel Sloss.
Sincerely, man, it looks fucking brutal out there, and you have my deepest sympathies for another fucking lockdown. I can't imagine what you're going through. It must be horrendous. I'm very sorry.
Why do you still look smug?
Well,
why do you look like the Spanish airport staff that sent us into the Brexit queue?
Well, because there's some people in Melbourne I hate. But like to 99% of Melbourne.
Why is your sorry crumbling right in front of my eyes?
No, it's still there.
It was such a big, sincere apology, and I looked at you and you had a shit-eating grin. I'm like, they can watch this on YouTube.
No, the apology is sincere. But I would be lying if, I said there weren't like 4 people in Melbourne that I know are suffering, and I'm going, good. Hopefully that'll give you the perspective that my lockdowns gave me, and you'll come out of the other side less of a cunt. Fingers crossed.
And now we're now in Antwerp. We played in Ghent last night. What a fucking mint country Belgium is. I think it's probably the most underrated country.
Yeah,
I just think everybody's nice. Everything works. It's clean.
Yeah, it is, and every city is so
it's beautiful. The architecture's class. Like the coffee culture and all that. Like I just had a little wander around outside, like board game cafes and stuff, and it's just like I just think it's one of them countries that English people need to go to just to get a sense of perspective that England isn't all that good. Because you know, like my mum and dad will say like, "Oh, you're always down on England. England's fucking great, right?" Like, to give you their perspective, they've been to Greece and Spain.
Right. Okay.
That's the holders. Of course, they think England's class.
Aye.
You know, get yourself to Belgium, even go to Australia and parts of America, and just have a little look. Just have a little immerse yourself in, like, go to Sweden.
Aye.
Right? Have a look around some countries, Germany.
Aye.
Just have a look around some countries and just see them doing it properly and, like, getting it right.
Aye. Yeah, I do think Belgium is fucking great. Just the people are very, very... I don't think I've ever met a Belgian that was bad at their job so far. I've never felt in the presence of incompetency, whereas that is everywhere in Spain. I don't think I've ever encountered a Spanish person where I was like, you did your job to 100% the best of your ability there.
Apart from the girl who was sat with her and our fella and our friends, and she took over the waitress's job, who was doing a bad job, and done a waitress's job for her.
Oh yeah, so our fans are, we bumped into. I was so angry after the gig. Again, not because of the audience. The audience that were there were great. Just every single other part of the gig.
Yeah, those technical difficulties.
Abject fucking failure.
The technical difficulties, the mics kept cutting out. The sound check didn't finish until the show was meant to start.
Yeah.
The show was starting ridiculously late because apparently in certain countries it's custom to have a show at like 9:45, 10 o'clock at night.
Couldn't give a fuck about customs.
It's just...
I know, here, put it this way, the comedy scene in the UK is bigger than the comedy scene in Spain. So we'll tell you how comedy fucking works.
The reason it's more, the reason people are more coming to shows is because you haven't put it on, like, so it finishes the next day.
But we met some fans afterwards who made us feel a lot better.
They were class. That was really nice to just, like... I don't know, just be around people that you could actually...
Normal Spanish people.
People that you could connect with.
Aye.
And have deeper conversations with without just looking at someone that wants to spit on you.
Aye. Somebody that just... Well, I think because, like, maybe in their heads they were just like, okay, these are the British people that we do like. And we just got, like, the VIP treatment.
Yeah.
I just wish fucking British tourists were less cunty. But it's just this vicious cycle that's never going to end. For Brits to stop being fucking rude. And we did start it. I guarantee we did start it. But for Brits to stop being rude, the Spanish would have to stop being rude. And it's never going to fucking happen.
There's never going to be like a Good Friday agreement between the British tourists and the Spanish service staff.
It's two very, very stubborn people just locking horns and neither of them willing to fucking back off. So so until that gets resolved, which is never... I'll just go to other countries.
And we're trying to be nice in the middle of this holy war, and it's just like throwing buckets of water off the Titanic. It's futile. We might as well just be rude back.
Aye, it's like being fucking It's
like we're stepping out of rank.
Aye. We're breaking the lines. We are fucking Khloe Kardashian with the can of Coke, just going up to the police, being like, "I'm making a difference." No, you're not. Gah! Dead. I caught you the other day.
Fuck, what's this going to be?
We were travelling together. I was reading my book, and you were Googling.
Oh no!
Puppy raincoats.
I just wanted a raincoat, like puppy prints on it, and there's a raincoat for my puppy.
Aye, because wolves can't get wet, can they? That's a famous historical thing. that like the reason
wolves seek shelter
aye
in bad conditions. Yeah, they build dens. I think dens. Is that what foxes?
No, I think wolves like find caves or big massive rocks to hide. They find shelter, don't they? Maybe they do.
We're just struggling. We're persevering. We're not going to give up and like we're not going to get the puppy pads just yet, but it might be the next step. But before we get, because Peggy will pee outside all the time when it's dry, but she's a little princess and she'll not go out she'll go out when it's raining. She'll just not their business, and she'll wait at the door to get let back in, and you have to play floor as lava. Anyway, we kind of get out to pee outside when it's raining, and I thought, I might get her a little rain jacket. Might just keep her just protected from the elements a little bit, so that she has a bit more confidence to.
Why don't you just go to Build-A-Bear?
What, get a
rain jacket from there? It's the same fucking size. I guarantee it'll fit.
I keep thinking Peggy's like, because I think Peggy's bigger than you've made out. I just think she's got a big aura.
she's got big dick energy.
That's why you call her Peggy.
No, she's a fucking tiny dog. She's
we've bought a big gazebo. We don't have children.
Aye, I know. But if my kids wouldn't piss outside, I'd buy them the same gazebo. I tell you that right now.
I fucking piss where you want. I'm not getting you a gazebo, you little cunt. Oh, little fairy dog. Let's get you a.
So you have to. Why does she not like being rained on when she's peeing, or is it like she won't pee on wet grass?
I think it's the wet ground thing.
Yeah,
I think it's more the wet ground because she's going out. She's going out and bother in the rain.
So it's not like she's pissing and then she can feel rain going on her back and she's like, how the fuck? How am I misaiming this? This is crap. This is disgusting. It's more, I don't like my. I can't. It would be. I guess.
How can I wet it when it's already wet?
Yeah, and I also guess like Natalie probably wouldn't piss if the toilet seat was soaking wet. Natalie wouldn't sit down and take a piss. She'd be like, that has to be dry because that feels.
Yeah, I think it's a bit like that. It must be. But as well, I don't know how much of it is like, you know how they sniff around to smell for a spot and then they have a gun. I wouldn't have it just like washes away all the smells.
Oh, she's like, oh, this isn't my toilet because I can. I've clearly not pissed here before.
I don't know how it goes through their little heads.
Well, but then afterwards, when it's dry, she'll still piss there. So I think that theory's debunked because she still goes out and pees when it's dry, even though the smell wouldn't be there.
Yeah, after it's dried up. Yes, you're right. So I think that's a bad theory. Also, like when it's windy, there's too many distractions. She'll be sniffing around for a spot and then like, a leaf, and then run after it.
You should just smell something else.
Or she'll smell around and then she'll get like a bit of bark because we've got like, bark down on like a part of the garden. And she'll get a bark chip and go, oh, that's nice, and just start chewing it and that. And you're like, on the laminate floor inside, there's no distractions. It's easier. So like on a still male day, it's easy. You just persevere with it. She'll eventually pick up outside good, inside bad. If you don't buckle.
Yeah.
If you keep getting treats outside, it's just getting like moved so that we can clear it up inside. Anyway, fucking talk less about me dog.
Have we discussed the fact that our fucking American visas were finally approved?
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't think so because that happened since the last episode.
Yeah, so congratulations, America. Well, congratulations, ads, really. But it was getting real close to the fucking wire. Didn't know if we were going to be able to...
Tickets are sold, venues are booked.
Yeah. It was all getting fucking close, and I mean, we've still got to have an interview in LAX, but I've been told it's a bit more of a formality than anything else. But still, I mean, let's keep all of our fingers and
if they decide to have to check my archived criminal record, that is going to postpone my visa a couple of days, and I might end up like Tom Hanks in Terminal.
Well, that's fine because I mean, not for you.
Not Tom Hanks in Philadelphia, where he's Terminal.
Right, very different movies. Tom Hanks has never played a bad guy in a movie.
Not even like if you dissect it and go, actually, he was the bad guy.
Well, like Road to Perdition, which I haven't seen in years and years. I can't remember it, but like apparently he's in the mafia then, and so it's like kind of like he's like that's objectively bad. So he's
I bet he's done movies like rom-coms that haven't stood the test of time, and he's now like he gaslights and that. I bet he's got some like sus roles that haven't aged well.
Woody in Toy Story 1 is a cunt.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because he's just dead jealous of the fucking new guy. He tries to get Buzz fucking killed or lost several times because he's jealous of this new thing. Like, he's not... it's only in the... Like, maybe the third act and then every movie from then on where Woody's a decent bloke.
He's
but that's the closest to country Tom Hanks has ever come in a movie.
It's like, you know, in that movie, the bad guy in Toy Story 1, this isn't my original thought, this is something I've seen, the bad guy isn't the bad guy. Now the kid that like takes the heads off the toys and puts them on like Spider's legs of Meccano and all that, that's a fucking artist, that like that's a creative type. He doesn't have the dogs, he doesn't know that the toys are alive.
Yeah, it would be insane if he did. Well, to be fair, he is tying one to, like, he says, all right, he ties one of them to a fucking firework to blow them up. Like, it's a destructive tendency.
Oh, yeah, maybe he's a little bit psychopathic, but he's like...
And he's got a dog that's very poorly trained outside in a fucking shed. Like, I think that's people trying to have a fucking hot take on select fucking scenes.
Yeah.
Like, he's still destroying things. He's stealing his younger sister's toys and... outwardly being a piece of shit.
He's nothing more than
naughty. But he's a kid. Like,
he's nothing more than naughty.
Like, and he's also in Toy Story 2. He's he's a weird fucking little cameo, but he's just a bin man in it.
I didn't know that.
Aye, so there's like a bin bag, there's a bin man wearing like headphones, listening to music, getting rid of all the trash.
He likes his music, he's a hard worker.
And he's wearing the same skull top that Sid does in the first one. So they're like,
it's just really tight on him and all that.
Aye. Maybe it's just his favourite fucking band. Anyway, America, it is on like Donkey Kong.
Let's do that in a second. Now, while I'm talking about things I found on the internet, I wanted to tell you this, because I sent it to Cara. You're stripy and your cat can see that you've got stripes. I discovered this on the internet, so might not be true. But human skin is like got patterns on it, but it's not visible to the naked eye. I don't know if it's like infrared or ultraviolet or whatever, but like under certain light, your body will be like, and some people have got like conditions where the patches show, so when you see people like look like almost like disfigurements on their skin, that's because they've got a condition that shows the stripes. Ray can see those vibrations of light, frequencies of light. So your cat sees you as a stripy human.
I don't know if I believe that.
Do you think that's one of them true lies?
I think it's like one of those, the second you said fucking frequency, it sounds like one of those...
Well, frequency of light is just a general, like you can see within the range of red, blue, orange, green, indigo, violet, or whatever. Not violet. But you can see within that range, but you know that spectrum...
It's much bigger.
So there's frequencies that the naked eye can't see. So that's not hocus pocus. But it is one of the things that you would say to make it sound plausible.
But that's you with an understanding of frequency. There's a bit of people out there, like the reason fucking conspiracy theorists, they'll just take two things they don't understand, and because they have the same numerical value or something, they'll put them together and go, they must be related. They're like, oh, human beings vibrate at this frequency, and this is the same frequency that 5G goes out there. Therefore, 5G is trying to kill us because of, and you go, motherfucker, you don't know either of those sciences. Yeah. The only thing you've recognised is a number between two things, and this isn't Jim Carrey in the movie Number 23. Stop being a fucking moron.
Like, so you don't believe that you're stripy?
No, not that I don't necessarily believe it, but you've not given me a convincing enough argument there. And also, Ray is 15 and blind. Well, she's not necessarily blind, but she's a fucking weird...
She can see when you've got food. That might be her nose.
No, she's got a blocked nose, and she keeps fucking... She keeps... Cara is... Ray has a new hobby, which is... She's always been an indoor cat. Until like we got her, like even when she was at my mum and dad's house, she would occasionally go into the back garden, but she didn't really like it that much.
She ventures outside.
Yeah,
she doesn't go around the doors and come back 3 days later.
No, but now that, because we've got a big garden that goes down all those levels, and it's all essentially hers, and there's nothing dangerous there, so she's got this fucking thing with running water. We don't know what it is, but like we noticed that every time our living wall comes on, and like it's with the
the automatic plant water,
the irrigation going fucking through it. Like the second that running water, she loves it. Like she would literally get down there in the empty pot, start drinking the water out of there, because I think like running water is fresh water to them. Like that's an old.
They recognise that as that hasn't been contaminated yet. It's just come out the sky.
But what she doesn't know is it's just going through all this fucking mud. So we've had to like cover those things so she doesn't eat them anymore. And then down at the back, we've got that pond that's not really a fucking pond that we emptied, but now it's rained so much.
Oh, that had the fish in it when you bought the house. I've never seen anyone buy a house complete with pets.
Aye. They're like, do you want to keep these fish? We're like, yeah, sure. She used to hang down there a lot and just sort of like look at the water there. Now she's discovered the stream.
So you're worried she may get carried off?
Well, so Cara starts following her down there because Cara loves animals more than anything in the world. So she wants to know where Ray's going. Because Ray would come back, she'd come back with a wet tail. And we're like, that's not great. Like, don't know what that is. Like, and she's a big fucking...
Getting her tail wet?
She's an old cat where like, and because she was never truly a kitten, she never got to do kitteny things. We notice now that like...
She's reliving her youth.
Well, yeah, because like if you try to play with old cats that are 15 that were kittens when they were and had lives as kittens, they won't play as 15-year-olds because they're like, fuck off, I'm old. Whereas Ray didn't have that. So if you play with her like a kitten, part of her brain just goes, this is fucking great, and she loses her mind. She also loves going outside at night, and she'll go down to the fucking bridge, which is a very old woodeny rickety bridge, which we don't go on because it's not fucking safe and it's going over.
Oh, that's the one where you're in like loggerheads with the council. Yeah,
the council are like, you can't replace that, and I'm like, well, it's at the bottom of my garden, and nobody else is going to fucking check, and I'm doing you a favour by replacing it. So. But
they're tied up in bureaucracy that like, no, we have to do it.
Yeah,
because then it has to be deemed safe.
Aye, but also
it's got to be pat tested.
Yeah, but also we're not going to do it because nobody walks that way anymore. So therefore, there's no point in us doing it. It's like I'm going to do it, Edinburgh Council, and there's fuck all you will do about it. And yes, challenge thrown down.
I cannot wait to see the bridge you make.
Well, I'm not going to make it.
Oh, right. I thought you were saying challenge accepted. I'm going to make the bridge.
I'm going to pay somebody to build a bridge in my garden. I'm not fucking doing it. No. What is this, 15 years ago?
That was the most Tory sentence you've ever said in your life.
What?
I'm going to pay someone to build a bridge in my garden.
Aye. I'm not going to do it my fucking self. I'm not going to have that fucking working class attitude of I can do anything I set me mind to. No, I can't. I'm going to pay somebody whose attitude is capable. That to do that themselves.
Yes, of course.
So she goes down to the she goes down to the bridge every night at like fucking 2 a.m. And
head on as well to Mr. fucking I'm gonna buy a gazebo for me dogs, just getting fucking high and mighty. You're really building a bridge in your garden.
No, the bridge is already there.
No, but I'm saying I called you a Tory for the sentence.
Oh, right.
I was like, I'm getting a gazebo because my dog won't play in the rain.
Aye, you were checking yourself before they wrecked yourself. Yes. I get it. That's fair. And Cara's like, I don't like it. I think she's going to fall in the water one day. And I'm like, that's fair enough. Like, but it's not a river.
She'll get out.
Well, to be fair, when it rains, it does turn into a fucking...
She probably won't be there.
Nah. Well, I mean, she doesn't have any concept of... Like, she'll come in soaking wet and just be like, why do my ankles and knees hurt? And you're like, because you weigh 6 stone heavier now.
Nobody likes a wet pussy. That's what they say, isn't it? That's what they say, right? Nobody likes a wet pussy?
I don't think they do.
Nobody likes a wet pussy dragging itself across the kitchen?
I don't think people say that, but it's true.
Imagine the squeaking.
Yeah, it's just...
It'll be dry after like half a foot.
Just leaving a slug trail. Right, like, okay.
You're just running and throw salt over her. So your cat comes in, something wet.
I think that was it. I just think...
And to round this story right off, we're going to America.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, so to any American fans out there, it's one of those weird things because there's, in an ideal world, in a world that wasn't riddled with COVID, we would have been able to like put this show, this tour on way further down the line. They would have been able to be on sale for longer. Like this is quite a
last minute.
It's very much a shotgun tour.
Yeah, it's been in the pipeline for a while, but the pipeline's been blocked.
Yeah.
And we've literally just this minute getting the visas unblocked the pipeline and it's all gone ahead fully.
And we leave Sunday for it.
So we're back from Europe on Friday. Got time just to wash and dry our laundry. And probably pack some of it still with wet cuffs.
People are still some people are still nervous about COVID and don't want to come out, don't want to risk it. There are rules in place in America where people that come to the show have to prove that they are vaccinated, and for a lot of people in America, because it's the anti-vax capital of the fucking world, they just not want to do that, so those ones won't come. Everyone's got financial troubles, like fucking we all do. We were all unemployed for fucking ages. So if you are in the States, for the love of God, buy tickets to the show and please tell all of your fucking friends. We're grateful to anyone that comes out.
Yeah, but let's get the entertainment kick-started. Let's not come in with a flop.
Aye.
Let's not flop back into America after.
Let's go back. We've missed you. We're very excited to be coming back.
And we'll hang out with everybody. It's one of them two as well. We're going to the arcades after.
Well, because it's
let you know where we're going.
It's my good. It's my tap out for a bit, because once we come back from New Orleans, I am, and I'll say it on the podcast so that I can be held accountable for this as well.
Leaving Cara.
She's done. It's done. Once I've got that fucking bank, I'm leaving her where she stands.
She can have a third of it. I don't give a fuck, as long as she doesn't make us come and pick up the baby on every other weekend.
Once I get back from New Orleans, I'm going. Because I said to Cara the second she got pregnant, because it's such an unfair thing, I was like, at any point, you're allowed to call solidarity and say, stop drinking, because, it just feels unfair. But for me personally, I want to be sober for at least the last 3 months of her pregnancy, because I think the worst way to start off being a father is for her to go into labour early on and be like, we need to go to the hospital. And I'm like, can we get a taxi? I'm high. That's not how you want to start. No, that's like, let's start from I don't think I'm going to start from a brilliant place. I don't think any father's ever nailed it from fucking day one. I think that's impossible. But like,
give yourself a fighting chance.
Yeah. And also, I just want to do the sobriety for a bit, and then, probably until the kid's about a couple of months old, until Cara basically starts drinking again. Maybe we'll just go back in together. That'll be our first,
and then I'll kidnap you, take you on your stag do in Spain.
Oh, I will, man. I
didn't tell your best man you're never going back to Spain.
Well, man, I can tell you, I was
going to take you to Vegas.
I can tell you, straight up, if you were to take me to Spain, there is, unless you literally handcuffed me, and even then, I would chew somebody else's arm off.
You would end up on an episode of Nick Cody and Luke Hegge's mid-flight brawl.
Yeah, 100%. Man, you couldn't get me on the flight. You couldn't get me on the fucking plane. And if you did get me there, I would fly back at the earliest fucking convenience. The second you were all in bed, the second I would got to go to the toilet by myself, I would run, get in a fucking taxi straight to the airport home. I am never stepping foot in Spain again. It's over. So when I come back from the States, I'm going sober. So this is like not necessarily a big blow. I don't want to get too shit-faced every single night, because we've all got the shows the next day.
Yeah,
and also
a lot of travelling as well. So it'll be like, take that in mind. Because this last trip, because of the Spain problems, we got cunted after the gig.
Aye.
The gig started late. We polished off a bottle of whiskey, went and drank a bunch of free poured gin with some of the fans.
Smoked a bunch of cigarettes and rage.
And then went to bed at like 2:30 and woke up with a whiskey hangover at 5:45 to get the flight to be here in Antwerp, and that was the night before last.
Yeah.
And even the night before that, we drank in London and then had the flight for Spain, and it's been fucking intense. We cannot, like what we did there, we cannot do that for the full tour. No. So we'll need to check when the early flight. We're getting old now. I am anyway. You stopped aging.
What's your secret? Oh man, I gotta say this. So the other day I was doing a fucking Q&A on Insta just while you were on stage in Guildford, and I'm just posting all the fucking videos, and somebody said drop the skincare routine. So I did this fucking reply where I was like, first of all, man, I have really good fucking skin. Like, it's something that Cara constantly said. She's so angry.
We're coming from Cara saying you've got good skin.
Aye.
She's on I was going to say she's on first name terms with a dermatologist, but that's just known who they are.
Yeah, and his first name is Doctor. Somebody was like, drop this. So I thought they were like, drop it as in like, get rid of it. Your skincare routine's not good. And I'm like, fuck you. I know I've got decent skin. And by the way, I've got decent skin, but I don't do anything to it. I don't drink lots of water.
So when they say drop it, are they like, reveal it?
Apparently. So you Cara corrected me because I did this fucking rant being like, look, I know I'm not the fucking healthiest cunt in the world, and I don't drink the most water, and I don't use moisturiser because I'm not a fucking loser. But like, this is good, and I don't see much sun. But for what I do, my skin is actually very good. And then Cara was like, they were actually saying that you have good skincare.
Yeah, stop having such good skin and drop the skincare routine,
please,
or drop it like a rap album.
Aye. So to whoever said that, and I ranted that. Sorry, whoopsie daisy, my bad.
So you didn't do anything for your skin? Just smoke?
Just smoke, drugs, drink lots. Man, you know what? And this is my fucking conspiracy theorist. And I say this theory, and I say this to Kat all the time. The reason I've got better skin than you is because I haven't been rubbing shit into my skin since I was 12 years old. Like, I've never moisturised. I've never done anything. Like, I just let my face do what it fucking does.
I don't wash my face unless it's dirty.
Yeah, I don't wash my face. No,
Like, I never use soap on my face.
Nah, never.
Nah. Or my back. My back's never had a wash in its life.
What was your back skin like?
What?
Was the skin on
Do you
your
want to have
back?
a look?
Aye.
What do you reckon?
Oh, I mean, it's not. I mean, you got a bunch of freckles, but
That mole's turning black, a bit crusty.
you can't scrub those off.
I got it right, and I'll wash my armpits, wash my bollocks in my arsehole, wash my feet. Now he's like doing my neck or whatever, and my front.
Not wash your face. I've never done it.
I've never washed my face. My fucking legs hardly ever get washed. Now and again.
It's
very easy to do. But
if I'm very tired, do you wash your legs or do you just trust the
you know
gravity
what?
to do its work?
I tend to, if I've like played a game of football or something like that.
Aye.
That's when. But if it's just day to day, jumping in the shower or stepping in carefully, however you choose to enter the shower.
Aye.
It's just a quick bit of the usual.
Aye. I just feel like, you know, if the amount of people that just, well, to be fair, I guess it's also just random. Like, some people have good skin and some people fucking don't. So the people that have bad skin have to put this stuff onto their face to make it better, and then I guess the skin never really learns to do it itself. I don't know. I'm not a fucking dermatologist.
Aye.
The point is, I'm naturally beautiful.
Is that how you want to end the podcast?
Yes, it is. No, I want to end it on dad jokes, but
I'll
go to danielsloss.com to see all of our tour dates. America, we're very, very, very excited to be coming back. If there's anyone in this going out today?
Yes, it's Monday.
The show in Antwerp tonight, I think the last few tickets have just been released, and the same for Brussels tomorrow. So should there be anyone, I mean, imagine if you listen to this podcast and you live in either of those places, you're already coming to the show. I think Estonia's both sold out, and then the rest is America. So please do tell your friends about it. Buy lots of tickets. Well, not lots of tickets. Make sure there's people in the fucking seats. And so my book is coming out on the 12th of October.
Oh, yeah.
Buy that, you motherfuckers.
And that's going to be the prize for the draw for the patrons. Anyone on tier 2 gets entered the draw once. Anyone on tier 3 gets entered twice. We drew out Kyle Chapman last time, and they won a signed t-shirt. That's already on the way to Kyle. And this time we're going to do your signed book and my signed book are going to be the prize. So if you're on a tier 2,
do I have to buy a copy of my own book?
I'm just going to probably nick one from your house. You know, the first ever episode, that first edition one, that's going to be really valuable. No, I'll not do that. We're probably going to have to buy a copy of your book.
Right, okay. We'll just do it with the Patreon money.
We'll put it as an expense.
Aye. Your dad staved his thumb by pushing the F key too hard when he commented on the trailer for Everyone's Talking About Jamie.
What does that mean? Press F for respect?
Nope.
Oh, no, Kev.
That was so fun to watch you get that joke in real time.
I went to watch that with Kev.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I probably I always start every story with, I probably told this on the podcast, but look, just fucking join in if you know the words. I was watching Everyone's Talking About Jamie, with mum and my dad to my left, and my wife Natalie to the right. And the first section ends with Jamie accepting that he's going to be into drag, taking the leap, buying a dress, right, and walking out onto stage for the first time as me. And then as he walks out...
As what?
Me is his drag act name.
Right,
in
okay.
the show.
Got you.
Me.
Very, very important context that you've just fucking rolled over there. Jamie comes back on stage in a big dress, dressed as me.
I just had joggies on. Fucking... So this is me drag act Kai Humphries. Nice little... It was like nostalgic. That just now. Walks out. And in full drag, right? But you don't see Jamie, the actor, go out in full drag. You see the curtains drop and the projection of him coming out in full drag, filling the whole curtain and the stage. It's massive. It's fucking big crescendo. Nice. It's the end of the section, right? The curtains come down. It's finished. Everyone just jumps up and starts clapping and standing ovations. The interval, and I start whipping my my jumper off because I'm hot. I'm in a hoodie. I'm packed in my seats. But we get up. It's an opportunity to take my hoodie off, right? But my t-shirt went with it. And it turned inside out and my arms pulled out of the sleeves and I've got knee top on in the theatre. And I can't easily get it back on because my t-shirt is now locked in by the sleeves onto my jumper, so I'm frantically trying to get it. And it just honestly looks like I've just went, just be who you want to be. And Natalie looked over. She's just clapping at the theatre and all that, right? And looks at me and went, what are you doing? Put your top back on. I'm like, I didn't mean to do it. This isn't me expressing myself. And my mum and dad didn't even react that hardly. They just say, there he goes.
There's our son, bleeding heart liberal, as always.
Mr. Woke. Your dad got mistaken for a wheel of cheese and a bloke from Gloucester rolled him down a hill.
Your dad makes your mum put batteries up his arse if he wants him to shag her faster.
Your dad orders his cocktail shaken, not stirred, but his cocktail is rum and coke, so it just fizzes everywhere.
Your dad eats hot dogs like corn on the cobs.
Your dad turned up to the wrong rally and started yelling meters murder to a bunch of moving cars.
Your dad has a picture of Peggy up on his dartboard.
That would hurt my feelings when I had to let him have it. I'd be like, nah, that's hilarious, but fucking hell, man. Take it doing when I'm here.
Don't invite me to play at the least. That's the worst bit. And stop saying bullseye when I get her in the heart.
Your dad thinks he's growing weeds, but he's actually got an attic full of stinging nettles.
Your dad hates when Muslim players celebrate by praying after scoring a goal, as he thinks you should keep religion and politics out of football, but will then, unironically, sing God Save the Queen with tears in his eyes and hatred in his heart.
You've hit a lot of people with that dad joke. A lot of people.
Good.
That's too many humans think like that. Far too many. One would be too many. And that's what's me dad.
In which case, typical Kev.
Your dad tells everyone he's a voice actor because he auditioned to be the voice of Bumbles in Knowledge is Power. What
a reference. If you've not played Knowledge is Power on the PlayStation,
Bumbles.
It's a very, very good party game for lots of people.
Of any age?
And you can play as Gareth Waugh.
Oh, that's one of the characters that's trying to look like he.
Oh.
I can't mind. You gotta get it up.
Oh, man, it is. Like, Gareth, when we first played it for the first time, Gareth was devastated because he was like, that is just me. Like, there's no one to know.
Like, how did your merch logo get took down, but that didn't?
Aye.
That's such a true likeness. Which, by the way, I have now printed out a written permission slip for you to sign to send to Spreadshirt so that we can get... yes, I mind him. It is absolutely Gareth.
It's 100. If you want to know what we're talking about, Google Knowledge is Power hot dog, and it's so unbelievably Gareth.
And if you're watching it on YouTube, I think Brett will bring it up for you on the camera. Because shout out to Brett, our editor.
All right, let's go smoke weed and play board games.
Yes, please.